Hi, my name's Barry Gay. I'm I've made it to 80 years already. Didn't take long. Uh, we, my wife and I, own Buena Vista Kennels in Saskatoon. It's where we board dogs and train dogs and look after people's cats when they're away. I spent my major part of my career as a high school biology teacher and retired, haha, to working at the kennel, and we've been doing that since 1979. I also do consulting on canine behavior. People have dogs that are misbehaved. I can help them with that. And shockingly, it only takes 90 minutes, 85 minutes of which is training the owner. Because once we get the owner doing things right, the dogs happily go along with whatever they want. Lately, I've taken up the hobby of powerlifting because I felt that getting old didn't have to mean getting weak. So I'm going to find out if that's true or not. So far, it looks like it might be true.
That's and this is the first time you've ever done that? Powerlifting.
Yeah, I've been at it, I think 5 months now.
5 months.
Yeah. Got a really great coach. I don't recommend anybody start powerlifting without a coach because you're going to hurt yourself. The coach makes sure that you're doing things right. And let me tell you, there's a lot of things you can do wrong. But once you get your style right and your form right, the only thing that can happen is you won't be able to lift the weight. But if you got your form wrong, you've got the wrong weight, you can get hurt. And recovering from hurt can take a while. So far, knock on wood, um, I haven't got hurt. Been a couple of weights that I was not able to lift, but that's what you expect. On the other hand, um, I am lifting weights that I never imagined that I would ever be able to lift, and I was never interested in it in a time that was earlier than when I started to notice I was getting old and getting slower and getting weaker, and I thought, "This is, you know, not the way to go,"
Mm,
or it is the way to go if you wanna go.
right.
So, yeah, I'm not planning on going anytime soon.
And you're 80?
80. Yeah.
80. Just starting powerlifting. That's
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool too because, like, from my not that I know a ton, but from my understanding, like, muscle is synonymous with longevity. It
Yeah, it
seems
is.
like
Yeah.
people who carry muscle are able to go longer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's definitely a relationship. As a I'm a biologist, by training, and as a biologist, we're just discovering now that if you are lifting weights, it increases the development and the manufacture of a protein. There's 4 proteins that actually keep us young because they patrol up and down, DNA strands, and they make corrections. Because every time a DNA strand splits apart and replicates to make a partner, there's an error made, sometimes several. These 4 proteins go up and down that strand, and they keep correcting it. But as time goes by and we get older and older, the the mistakes on the DNA get, more than the proteins can handle. And lifting weight makes them more plentiful. And so the corrections come faster, and that that leads to a longer lifespan. The idea that old age is not old age; it's a disease, and it's a genetic disease that can be repaired. And we're right on the edge right now of looking at being able to inject these proteins into people and have them live 200, 250 years or more. So that's coming up. I don't know whether that'll arrive in time for me because at 80, I mean, you know, how many how many years have you got left? I'm thinking maybe to 110. I might be fooling myself,
No way.
but I'm
No
going to keep
way.
lifting weights.
That's what I've told my wife for so long. I said I'm living over 100.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, don't set the goal for 100, set it for 100 and beyond.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're clearly a great example. I feel like to start something like this, I
that age.
yeah, is
Yeah,
even to have the energy, the drive, the mindset to start. I feel like even people who would want to start, they'd think about it and then they'd make the excuses not to.
yeah, we're too tired, it hurts too much.
Yeah.
But I think what we have done until recent generations is we've looked at our animals that we're, herding and looking after, and when they get old, they get sore and they stop, and we just think that's what we should do too. But we can know better. We can know better than that. We don't have to stop because it hurts. You can keep going, and you don't have to quit when you're tired, because if you keep going when you're tired, you will get stronger. Yeah, it's not pleasant, but it's worth it. And when you get to the end of that workout, you go, "Man, I'm really glad I came." I look back to before I walked in that gym door thinking, "I don't wanna go today. Oh, this is sore. This
Mhm.
hurts. I'm tired." And you're making up all these excuses. Don't fall for that. Go, because I promise you, by the end of your workout, you'll go, "I'm so glad I came and I feel better." And
Mhm.
stuff doesn't hurt like it did when I came. And that stuff goes away. You just get stronger and stronger all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good example because I see this so often, like being at the boxing gym.
Mhm.
How many people cancel, how many people don't,
Yeah.
or sometimes people will show up and they'll tell me like, I'm kind of having a bad day or like I'm not feeling that great. But then by the end, they're like, "Oh, I'm glad I got." Like,
Yep.
never are they like,
Yep.
"See, I shouldn't have came."
No,
Never.
you would never say that. I
No.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
You would say at the end for sure, "Glad I
And I
came."
I've talked about this a couple times, but I read a friend of mine wrote a book, and in one of the chapters he talks about he says mood follows action.
Yeah.
So it's like you do the thing and then you get the feeling from it. But most people wait to feel and then they'll go do the
And then do
action.
it. Yeah.
So sometimes I'll never do the action because they never feel it.
Excellent.
So he said, do it, and then following it, your mood will change.
Yeah.
Or during.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he had a chapter, mood follows action.
That's excellent. That is so true. You just, like, the light went on
Mhm.
when you said that. So, uh, when people get depressed, the thing to do is to go out and go for a walk or a run or go lift some weights. And if you say, "Oh, I'm too depressed to do that," that's the wrong answer.
Mhm.
Go and do it, and your mood will change.
Right.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So being a biologist, so how did you go from being a biologist to a dog trainer? What does
Yeah,
that
well,
timeline look like?
it's interesting. I was born in Whitehorse in Yukon, and, at the age of 6, I bought a puppy for $5 from a native kid on the flats who lived near us, Skipper, and, I love that dog, and that dog loved me. One New Year's Eve, the dogs just were out running around. You let them out in the morning, and they'd come back or not. And one New Year's Eve, my mom and dad were going to a dance. They got on a bus, and the bus ran over my dog, and so that was heartbreaking. I could bring myself to tears right now if I wanted to over that.
Mm.
And so I've always loved dogs, and so my wife and I, she said, "Well, when we can afford to move out of this basement suite, um, we should get a dog." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, when we do that, you can do that." She said, I'm going to get collies, because she read Lad of Sunnybrook Farm series, a whole bunch of stories about collies, and, and all the long coats that they have. And then luckily, luckily for us, we went and watched an obedience trial where dogs were competing by doing all kinds of exercises. And there was this German Shepherd that, the girl handling him threw the dumbbell over the jump. The dog jumped over the jump, picked it up, turned around, and jumped back over the jump. and sat in front of her, and my wife went, "Oh, I'm gonna get a German Shepherd." And I said, "Yeah, okay, whatever you want, get whatever." So we finally got our own house, and she got a German Shepherd, and that was it. That was, turned out to be a lucky breed for us because shepherds can do anything. They're not necessarily the best at everything, but they're good herders. They're not the best herders. They're great trackers, not the best trackers. Um, they're quite agile, but not as agile as other breeds. But they're a dog, if the breeding is right, that can actually be willing to take on people if people are misbehaving, and that has largely been bred out of all breeds except the dogs of war and German shepherds. The the humans who started turning that species of wolf that's no longer with us into dogs, very carefully bred. They were brilliant, and we're talking 15,000 years ago that they were breeding these wolves to become dogs, and every breed had to adhere to certain standards. They had its purpose. There were guarding dogs, there were warning dogs, there were herding dogs, and anything that we needed, we would be able to breed into dogs. And dogs' genetic is incredibly plastic. You can breed anything out of them. And so the German Shepherds were, up till well, about 120 years ago, were 100% working dogs. They could manage the pack, or they could manage the sheep, and they could look after the owner of and the sheep herder as well. And that was a dual purpose dog. And in 1960s, we started to um, look at German shepherds from a beauty and a show point of view, and they started to breed for certain structures that led to beautiful trotting, and they kind of gave up on what was inside the brain. And so there's two brands of German shepherds now. Um, one that's for show, and one that is for work. Um, so we chose to go with the working dogs, and they have done us. They've done well for us. Strangely enough, the money is in the show dogs, maybe
Mm,
because they would argue with me, but I would say it's not nearly as much work as training a dog to go tracking and to do obedience exercises and then to do protection work or uh, work that involves stopping the bad guy from running away or running at you. There's a lot of work in that. But maybe that's why it's a hard thing to do. You have to be a bit of a masochist to do it because it's super hard to pass those tests all on one day. And so you'll go and your dog fails something, you go, "Oh, no, and a lot of money into traveling."
my speaking of like my grandma trained police dogs.
Yeah.
Here I don't know if she did it here actually. Uh Perry or Perry Pat and Gary Pickard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Pat Crothers was her name before, but
Mhm.
Pat and Gary Pickard. But then in Coppell, she trained dogs out there.
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Yeah, and I got to put on the attack suit and
Isn't that fun?
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
and it's crazy to feel the power.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
like to feel like there's nothing that I would be able to do.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
you imagine if that was on a bare arm, like, what
Yeah,
what the bad guys do, they fall to their knees and they give up,
great.
and they start yelling, "Get the dog off, get the dog off." And, I have a friend who was, a canine officer in Edmonton. He said, "You'll like this story." I was at a schoolyard, quite a ways across, and this guy was the guy we wanted. And I said, "Stop or I'll send the dog." The guy started running, and the guy looked back, and on his own, he stopped and he turned around and put his hands up in the air. So I said to him when I arrested him, "Why did you stop?" He says, "I've been bitten before.
Mm.
That's why I stopped." 'Cause I'm not gonna have that happen again.
Right.
No, that work you mentioned with the suit on and the attack arm sleeve, that's called a helper, and they are the person or persons in a club that do that kind of work. and you have to be the biggest loser in the world because that dog must win every battle with you.
Mhm.
And you start with a little wee battle with a little soft toy, and you wave it in front of the dog's mouth like that. And if the dog has the drive to bite it, the dog bites it, and you go, oh, and you let go right away. You're so impressed with how powerful that little puppy was. And the puppy goes, I'm tough. And we never ever change their mind on that. So that you hear of stories of like police service dogs will be stabbed a couple of times, and they just keep fighting on through because they know they're going to win in the end,
Interesting.
and they've been killed, but they
Right.
fight to the end because they know they're gonna win.
Mm.
Yeah, they're amazing, and they don't feel pain like we do either. They're way, way tougher than we are, 10 times at least tougher. So when I say to somebody, "You get after your dog for that," they go, "Oh, bad boy," and the dog goes, "Thanks for petting me."
Hey,
So you have to be a little tougher with them than you do with human beings to get them to understand that you are the boss. You see,
right.
this whole dog thing, because they are wolves. There's a lot of wolf in every dog. There's wolves, and some of the behaviors are like the pack, the sense of we are a member of a pack is still strong in dogs. Not as strong as in wolves, but it's there in dogs, and dogs must have a leader. And if it's not you, guess who it is? The
Oh,
dog.
yeah.
So, and that's not a fair thing to do to a dog because they're not intelligent enough to lead properly and they make mistakes. And then because of the laws we have, your dog bites somebody on the sidewalk. That was the dog doing what he thought was right because he hadn't been trained to understand that that was not what you're allowed to do. Or they attack another dog and it's the owner's fault. And to have the dog be put to death for that, sort of kind of wrong. I guess the owner is hurt by that, but not like the dog is hurt
Mm.
by that. So you need to be in charge of your dogs, and they need to clearly understand that you're in charge, and that involves telling them to sit one time and not 3 times. Sit, come on, sit. So I say to people, give your command like it's an order, and that sounds the tone of voice to dogs. Tone of voice is everything. So if I said to my dog, sit, the dog would go, well, that sounds optional. And a different word, even though to us it's the same word, is sit. Okay, so now the dog goes, oh, okay, that sounds like you meant it. And I know what that word means. But if I go, sit, that's another word to the dog. It's not the same word at all. To you and I, it's the same word, but not to a dog. So tone of voice is one thing, body language that goes with it. You act as though you are completely in charge and totally competent, super confident in every decision you make. And the dogs just go, life is good because I have a leader. And the
Mm.
dogs that are most messed up that I deal with every day are dogs who do not have a leader. It's all about leadership. They'll say, I have this problem. I go, don't even tell me. The problem is your leadership, and I'll show you how to do that. And it's a big relief to the dog to find out they have to do what they're told. A human being would not be happy with that. If I demanded that you do exactly what I said every second, you would go, I'll get you someday.
Mhm.
The dogs just go, thank you, master.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's such a different psychology. And people, honestly, without even knowing it, they think of their dog as a child. And so they treat it like a child.
Mhm.
And the poor dog doesn't know what to do. Yeah, so I do enjoy dogs. They love you if you're the leader. It's what the job of the pack is to love the leader. And if your dog's looking at you all the time, that's a sign that the dog sees you as a leader because the wolves in the pack that aren't leaders watch the leader all the time. The leader tells them what to do: run fast, attack, run away, hide, whatever, and they all do that. And the packs with the best, wisest leaders live the longest.
Mm. I seen. Well, for first thing that came to mind was when you were, because it's interesting when you talk about leadership, and then you were saying that um, it's different with dogs and people,
Yeah,
but It's funny because like I go to lots of schools. I do a lot of community work.
Mm,
Uh, and when I see how the kids operate and how they speak to each other, how they speak to me, how they listen, I can already tell how the leadership is at the
yep,
school.
absolutely.
I already know,
Yeah,
and just like you said, like sit or sit. Like, I go some places and I can't do that.
that's right.
I can't go say sit
No.
or they'll shut down completely.
Yeah, yeah,
And then some places it has to be a question. It's like, hey, can you sit?
yeah. Can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I go to another school and they just like they'll blow a whistle and everybody sits down
yeah.
nicely.
That's right.
And it's just like so it's interesting,
Yeah,
because I feel like when it comes to leadership, that's what we're lacking right now as a
yeah,
culture.
yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
It's I'm glad I'm not teaching now.
Yeah.
Um, when I was teaching, um, I had two really great teachers, which made me want to become a teacher, and they were both inspiring and storytellers, and fun, and disciplinarians. So we'd have some fun. They'd tell a story that related maybe to the lesson, not always, and we'd listen. We just love it, and then it was now it's down to work, and I'll tell you what, it was down to work. So, and I taught the same way. Um, have fun, be nice to the kids, and a lot of kids aren't nice to each other because it's an age thing, right? They have to grow up. But if someone was misbehaving, I wouldn't yell and scream at them. I would just say, "Come and talk to me here. I'm going to have you go out of the classroom unless you can control this. But I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I will ask you 2 questions per period, and I'll tell you what the questions are in advance. You can practice that a bit. I'm going to make you look like you're a genius. What do you say?" They go, "All right," because kids will do anything. They'll get in trouble so they can get attention, because some attention is better than no attention. And so they'd be clowns and fooling around and misbehaving and disrupting the class. I said, "I can't teach class like this. I will not allow this. You can't be here doing that. But there's a way out. So we're gonna get the attention that you want, and in return, you're gonna you're gonna learn and be behaved. Okay?" Yeah, that deal usually worked. Most of the time, it worked. And that was kind of fun. You can see him sort of, "Oh, I know the answer to that, John."
That's awesome.
And everybody's going, "What? John has an answer?"
That's
Yeah, smart answer, I'd say.
that's good. So then when if you have because at the beginning you said how dog training is more trainer training or the
Yeah,
owner training.
owner training,
So
completely.
how do you if somebody doesn't have the traits of a leader, how do you get them to build those skills, or like how do you get them to switch that?
It's really hard for some people to do that, but I say dog training is acting. You have to act like you might be just shivering in fear inside, but you have to put on a face that says, "I can handle anything." And your tone of voice has to reflect that feeling that you have. So practice that feeling without the dog, and 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 know that you're doing your dog a favor by being a leader. You're not hurting the dog. If you have to correct the dog, and that's fine. Dogs will accept any fair correction. They're fine with it. And the way to make it fine is to immediately recognize that their behavior has changed from bad to good and immediately start praising. So let's say a dog is growling and lunging and barking at a person or another dog, and I say to you have to decide as the leader, you like this behavior or you don't like this behavior. It's very simple. Look at your dog. Do you like its behavior right now? They go, yeah. Or they go, no. Okay, so no means you need to act angry. So it's an angry sounding, loud no, like that, followed a half second later by a correction on the leash, which should cause the dog to turn and look at you in surprise, at which point you go, what a wonderful dog you are because you're not being bad now. I'm happy. So you're acknowledging the fact that the dog's behavior changed and it changed to something better. Okay. So if you yell no and give the dog a correction and it turns around and attacks you, then you have to be much harder in your correction and much louder in your nose, and you have to make that dog sorry that's the choice it made. That rarely happens. That rarely happens. I've only seen it happen once.
Mm,
I had to be quick to step aside and give him a harder correction.
right,
And after that second hard correction, the dog went, "Oh, okay. Oh, maybe this guy's in charge." And I told him what a wonderful dog he was, and petted his head. And he licked my hand, and a close one. I'm not saying I haven't been bitten. I've
right.
had a few bites because they're fast. They're faster than we are, and they're stronger than we are. So you have to know what you're doing. So dogs like that, they're pretty rare. Most of that has been bred out of dogs over those 15,000 years. I'm sure that at least three-quarters of the wolves we were working with were dangerous when we first started working with wolves in the cave days, but most of that's gone now. One thing that is in dogs is they all want human beings to be happy, every last one of them. They want to make you happy. And we picked that. We picked that as an attribute that we bred and rebred and kept in the lines. And there are some dogs that are less concerned about your happiness, like the guard dogs who work in flocks alone in the field, and they don't care whether a human comes and pets them or not. They just like being with their sheep. Um, and then other dogs, like good working line shepherds, you can train to be bad to people, but they see it as a game, and they think
Mm.
it's a lot of fun to chase a bad guy down, drop him on the ground, and hold him till the officer comes and puts the handcuffs on. Yeah,
So when you say that we chose that, it's hard for me to even picture how that even happens.
yeah. Well, your pet wolf and my pet wolf are showing signs of making noises because wolves don't bark, right? Dogs bark, wolves don't bark. So, but your wolf and my wolf kind of go "Arr, arr," when something's coming. I think that's something I would like to have in all the wolves I have from now on. So let's breed the two of them, and then eventually, nowadays all dogs bark, right? And wolves still don't bark. There's two more species out there in the wilderness we haven't wiped out yet, and the third one, which we didn't wipe them out, we morphed them into dogs.
Mm.
So, uh, dogs are a lot the digestive system of dogs and wolves is the same. It's much like ours. Um, what are other attributes? They they understand pack, and they're most happy when there's a pack order and they understand what it is. So I'll go to a family and I'll say, "Okay, seeing what I've seen, you're in charge. The dog's in second place. You're in third place, and you're in fourth place because the dog treats you differently than it treats the number one.
Mm.
And it could be the mom, it could be the dad. And I said, my goal is to make sure that one, two, three, four, dog. Now, if you're 6 years old, the dog's probably not going to respect you, but the dog can learn that we don't bite the children
Right.
because if you do, you're in trouble with number one and number two.
Mm.
And the dogs go, what? The dogs go, if I knew what you wanted, I would do it. Just show me what you want. But people assume that dogs know. They don't. They're dogs aren't I mean, they're smart, but they're not smart, you know? They don't make good decisions. And so they'll try to intimidate the mailman because this strange person comes and fools around with the door or the mailbox and then leaves. And the dog barks and barks, is really angry at this person. And the people, I don't know what to do. He won't. So what? It's easy. Take him out, meet the mailman, tell the mailman to bring some biscuits, pet him,
Yeah.
and the dog will be happy to see him within 3 days, and he won't be an enemy anymore. And also tell the dog if he growls at all, he's going to be in trouble. Don't you
Mm.
growl. I'm going to correct you for that. The dog will go, oh, if only I'd known. I didn't know you didn't want me to growl. I thought I was doing my job. We picked that job, barking at intruders, right? We want that. Although today it's almost, you don't really need that. The neighbors complain.
Right.
So you have to control it. Tell the dog what you want. He will do it. You have to teach him in a way that he understands, though. So that's a, teaching dogs and teaching people are somewhat the same, but at the same time quite different. You can't physically correct a child and then as soon as he changes his behavior, give him a chocolate bar. That doesn't work.
Right.
You know, they don't accept that, and we shouldn't do that anyways. Although
Yeah.
some kids are not treated very well, as you know.
Yeah. And I heard. Do you train like walking dogs too?
Dogs that are guarding,
I mean,
watching.
just like I feel like there's a lot of people who have trouble just taking their dog for a walk
Oh yeah,
because their
oh
dog
yeah, for
won't walk
sure.
with
They
them,
pull them.
or
The dogs
they
pull them all over the
pull
place. Yeah. Well, think about that. Where is the leader of the pack during a walk?
at the front.
At the front. Okay, so here we have a person being pulled down the street by their dog. They've allowed the dog to be in front. The dog goes, "I'm in charge." Now, there's a lot of stress in being in charge. So they see another dog and they start barking at it, and then you're embarrassed. And I say, well, okay, so let's teach the dog that there's a place to walk and that you're in charge. So to teach the dog this, the dog will teach the dog to walk with his shoulder by your knee with a loose leash. And when he's there, we tell him how good he is. If he dodges away from there, we give him a little correction with the leash. And as soon as he's back, he's wonderful again. As soon as he leaves, he gets an unpleasant correction and he's back and we're happy again. You're rotating your act between offended and joyful. And so the dog goes, I'm programmed genetically to make people happy. So I'm going to pick joyful human being. And they walk at your side and they're so proud and then you can say, okay, now you can go in front a little bit, but do not make the line tight. If you pull me, you're in trouble. If you walk across in front of me and trip me, you're in trouble. If you cross behind me and click my heel so I'm stumbling, you're in trouble. And the dog goes, this is great. I can sniff things. My master will point things out that I should sniff. They'll say, "Oh, check this mailbox. Look, there's lots of pea stains here. You really like to enjoy having a sniff of that."
Yeah.
And the dog goes, "Oh, this is great." And they go, "Time's up. We're going to the next one." You know, and sniff this tree. Don't sniff that tree. Check out that lamp post. The next two, you're not going to be allowed to sniff. You sniff what I say, and you sniff for as long as I say. It's it's like it's like being appreciated for being a total autocrat. You're
Mhm.
totally in charge of every step that dog makes, and the dog is happy.
Yeah.
But people don't understand that. They go, I would be so upset if someone, yeah, of course you should be upset. No human should be treated that way. It's being treated like a dog, the way they want to be treated.
Mm.
And people listening to this podcast will say that Barry is out of his mind. He's so wrong. I can bring me the worst dog you can find. Give me 90, well, give me alone 5 minutes with the dog. You'll have a different dog. Bring the person who owns a dog. Give me 90 minutes. I'll have that person trained to do it. And that dog is good forever after
Mm.
that. And they'll say, oh, it's just a one time thing and they'll revert. No, they won't. They want to be led. They need a leader and they will make you happy if they knew what it was that made you happy. It's this is completely against all of the teachings that goes on at vet colleges in
Right.
animal behavior. They teach no, you must not make the dog do things it doesn't want to. I go, what the hell? Why do we have dogs? We have dogs to make us happy and to maybe to guard us or maybe to sit with us when we're depressed. All those kinds of things. And but they have to do what we say. We pay the bills,
Right.
right? I'm not going to be second place to a dog and have a dog tell me what to do. It's ridiculous.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll be round thoroughly blasted for this by a number of people,
Yeah.
except the people that I've
Yeah.
worked with. They'll
Right.
they'll give you testimony by the hundreds of how I saved their dog's life because they were on the verge of despair, about to put the dog down because it was behaving so badly. I said, the dog is not behaving badly. It's doing what it thinks is right.
Mm.
You need to show it that that is not right, and he will be fine. I promise. Oh, I don't believe it. All right, let's do it. At the end, they go, that's like a miracle. It's, can't believe, like, is this the same dog? said, "Yes, it is." And the dog's happier now, as you can see, because you've taken charge. So thank you.
And where did you learn this mentality?
Through about 50 years of doing stuff right, doing stuff wrong, throwing out the wrong stuff,
Right,
just observing dogs and like there's one guy on TV that's Caesar,
right.
the dog whisperer. He knows what he's doing. He does not show what he does because it's politically incorrect. When a dog needs to be corrected for being bad, it has to be corrected to a level that it understands, and that's different for every dog. Like
Mm,
some dogs, if I just went no, they would never do that again because they're sensitive. Other dogs, you have to give them a couple of good, hard, sharp corrections, so they go, "Hey, you're biting me, so that must mean that you're in charge. If I'm biting you, I'm in charge, but you're biting me, so okay, so you're in charge." And I've never run into a dog yet that I had to actually cause injury to before it went, "Okay, I'll do what you say." I've had to cause them some pain. If they try and bite me, I need to make them understand very quickly
mm,
that they cannot do that, so it has to be a bit painful for them, but it like, there's no blood or broken bones or anything
right,
like
right,
that,
right.
like they can do to each other. So, because the 3rd time the dog tries to bite me, he's gonna get me for sure.
Mm,
And I'll tell you, I know from experience that can hurt.
mhm.
But those dogs, they see the light in the end. Now just make sure that they don't get to bite, and then they see the how much nicer things are now that they don't have to lead and be in charge of biting people. They're okay with that.
It was definitely an eye opener, like going to my grandma's because she always had, like 6, 7, 8 German Shepherds at a
Mhm.
time,
Yeah.
and she had this big log that she used as like a throw toy.
Oh
And
yeah.
it was just like this big,
Big massive piece of wood.
yeah. So she'd throw it. All the dogs would run to it. None of them would touch it. The same dog would grab it
Yeah.
every time.
That was the leader of the pack.
Yeah,
Behind her.
and none, no one, even if the other dogs got to it first,
Yeah.
they would just
They just
stand
step
and
aside
wait.
and let
Yeah,
the leader have it.
and he'd come
Exactly. Yeah.
and bring it back, and
Yep.
it was like it was kind of interesting to see.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they'd get into those scraps, right? Somebody would test them,
Yep.
and then my grandma would be like, "Just let like they're just figuring it out."
Yeah. They'll figure it
And
out.
then they did. It was never like a fight to the death or anything. It was just like
Yeah.
you could tell they were just arguing,
It's
you know? Or
exactly, yeah. A little bit of nipping here and there,
yeah.
and then, yeah, the message is sent, and everybody knows their place again. We have, 3 yards with 3 packs of dogs in them, and now and again, the leader in one of the yards, famous for, she goes and picks up all the toys one by one, and she puts them in a pile beside her, and she lies down beside it, and she goes, "Now what are you guys gonna do about this?" And they come and look at the toys, and she raises her lip just a little bit, and they move away. And then she gets bored and then she walks away and everybody goes and grabs a toy.
Mm,
Yep. They're leaders within the pack. And if my wife is in the yard or I'm in the yard, we're the leader. Has to be that way.
right.
They're fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you another thing I've heard is even sometimes like getting down to their level or like laying in front below them, you shouldn't do.
Um, if they understand you're the leader, then they will take that as play, offering of play.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wouldn't go into a yard of strange dogs and lie down
Right.
because
Right.
that yeah, that's showing submission, right? So dogs will just lay down and roll over to another dog and they're saying, "You're in charge. I'm an underdog," and they can tell by looking at each other. It's the demeanor of the dog. The dog comes in with like the same thing we do: confidence, totally assured of himself or herself, and just goes, "I'm in charge here." And the other dogs see that and they go, "Okay." Unless there's another dog who thinks he's in charge too, then there can be a bit of a feeling out who's going to be in charge. And once that's settled, it's somewhat settled for a while. So we don't keep those 2 dogs together. They're in a different yard from each other because there can be blood in that case. Especially
Mm,
2 females are the worst. 2 female dogs are the worst. If they're both of equal status, one is gonna end up being queen, the other one might end up being dead,
Right.
but there'll be big vet bills
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as a result. The males are much more reasonable. They go, "Oh, okay, you're stronger than I am today. We'll see what tomorrow brings." And there
Mm,
won't be blood, there'll be bruises, though.
right. Yeah, I feel like I see that with like
Mm.
little dogs, like chihuahuas and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Like it's like they don't know they're small.
No, they really don't, and they tend to be, yeah, quite noisy and nippy, as well, which is not a good thing to be if you're
That size.
running around with the shepherds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but,
seen I was telling this to David. I seen a video where a guy tested, I don't know how many, like 30, 40, 50 dogs.
mhm,
And he would break into their house, like the owner would know,
yeah,
and then attack the owner and see what the dog would do.
right,
And out of all the dogs, only 3 attacked him. And he did it to Rottweilers, German
yeah,
Shepherds, Golden Retrievers, and 2 of the dogs that attacked him were Chihuahuas.
yeah,
And then one was like I'm not sure what it was, but it was like a mid-sized dog. But none of the Great Dane, the big
yeah,
dogs,
yeah,
all just would bark and stand,
yeah,
or they would run.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, you kinda have to train them for when that kinda sort of thing happens, and what they can do, what they're allowed to do. Because like I said, we've taken these wolves and we've taken a lot of that aggression out of them because
right.
that's not what you want in a family or in a tribe, right? Because you don't your wolf fighting other people's kids or you or your friends or your wife, and so we go, that dog's not going to get bred. We're just going to have it for supper instead, and so a lot of that's lost, which is why the German Shepherd line split into show dogs and to working dogs. So we've tried to preserve in the working dogs who enjoy the fight, who have prey drive. They see something moving, they want to catch it.
Mm.
Something threatens them. Instead of running away, they want to fight. So if you walked into my yard and you walked in like, "Hey guys, how are y'all? Oh, look what a nice bunch of dogs. Come on over here and get a pet." They would go, "Oh, this guy's a good guy." And if you kicked one of them, they go, "Oh, this guy's a good guy. We get to fight." They like fighting and they like playing and petting. It's the
Okay,
same, whatever you want.
interesting.
So we feel pretty secure at our place.
It's funny. I remember I had this dog. It was half Shar
Oh yeah,
and
my
half
goodness.
Black Lab.
Wow.
Yeah, but it looked like a Shar just less wrinkly.
Oh, okay.
Uh, and
Yeah.
then maybe a little bit taller too. But when I was what grade was I in? I don't know, grade 10.
Yeah.
Like that was like my best friend in my house.
Yeah.
He followed me everywhere. He slept with me,
Yeah.
but he knew my mom was the boss
Yeah.
because anytime me and my mom wrestled, he would help my mom.
Yeah. Yeah, against you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though he
Yeah,
slept with me,
yeah, yeah.
he
He was your dog.
but if me and my mom wrestled in any way, he took
Yeah.
my mom's side.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That happened with that first dog of me. It wasn't wrestling, but my dad said to me, "So Barry," he says, "you go sit over that side of the room, and I'm going to sit on this side of the room. You see Skippy, he's lying in the middle of on the carpet there." He said, "What do you think would happen if we both called him at the same time?" I said, "He'd come to me." My dad said, "Want to bet?" I said, "Yeah, he doesn't even like you. That dog loves me." He says, "Let's see what happens." He says, "Ready, set, go." I go, "Skippy, Skippy, Skippy, come on, Skippy." My dad went, "Skippy, here." The dog went to my dad. I was brokenhearted. It was what an amazing lesson that was about
Right.
leadership, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Skippy knew who the leader of the pack was. My dad.
Did your dad have any idea about?
I don't somehow he knew.
Yeah.
He knew that the dog would listen to him.
Right.
I don't know how or
That's a
why.
cool memory to have.
That is a great memory. Yeah.
Yeah. And you wrote a book
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
about
did. Yeah.
training dogs.
About training dogs. Yeah.
Is that story in it?
It might be.
It should be.
I bet it is.
If it isn't,
It
it
should
should
be.
be.
It should be in there. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I so my cousin had her dog was trained by you
Oh,
when it
good.
was a baby,
Yeah.
and then she read your book. So I was talking to her that I had met you. Uh, I said, "I met the person with the dogs next door." It's funny too because a lot of the people who have been on my podcast
Yeah.
have heard your dogs.
Oh, they bark and interrupt.
Yeah, but it's fine because these mics don't pick it up.
Oh, good. They're quite
Yeah, they
unidirectional.
just pick the voices up.
Oh,
You
perfect.
know, it might not even have picked up your cell phone
Oh,
ring.
let's hope not.
Yeah, but
Mm.
anyways, yeah, I was telling her that, and then she's like, "I think that's who trained my dog. He wrote a book, and we read
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
um, so now I want to read it because
Yeah.
I've been like,
I'll give you a copy.
yeah, like I've been interested in training dog. Like
Yeah.
I follow a couple pages, and I just I like the mentality of the leadership
That part.
because
Yeah.
honestly, like leadership is probably the thing I've tried to work on the most. You
Yeah.
know, just with like the industries I've been in. I've tried to get like mentorship on it and just like learn about leadership and
Yeah.
how to lead everyone, you know, because one of my business mentors told me like you can find people who are like you and lead people who are like you, but then you're like working with a very small group. You can only lead certain
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
but you have to be able to lead everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you do that? You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
then I really like opened my mind up to leadership. And then I started hearing different dog trainers talk about training dogs. I'm like, this seems pretty similar to people,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like even with children, you know, this is how you build a human into become a person that's
Right.
going to be a strong, confident
Yeah.
person in our
Yeah.
society. You start when they're a
We
kid
need
and
that.
you
Yeah.
build them up. And so like I've always liked listening to dog trainers speak about how they do it
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of it translates,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's important, isn't it? We do need leaders. People are more difficult to lead than dogs by huge factor.
Right.
They're smart and they think they have their own ideas. You have to treat them well, respectful. You have to have the answers. You have to be open to their ideas and able to listen, and you have to deal with conflict.
Right. They're not gonna love you no matter what.
No, that's right. And you just have to say, look, um, we we have a job to do here, and I'll help you as much as I can, but you need to do your job. And people tend to run away from conflict because it's unpleasant. It's it's worrisome. But the best thing to do is if you have a problem, is sit them down and talk to them right away. Right away. Don't let that go because it gets worse. It
Mm.
doesn't get better. It never fixes itself. And people start imagining the other person is thinking this and that and the other thing, and they're not. Sit down. Here's what I see. You tell me if I'm wrong. And they go, no, I never felt that way about you. Oh, that's a good thing to know. I'm glad we talked. Instead
Mm,
of thinking, oh, that go and talk to your wife and that guy was so mean. What an asshole he was. And you go, well, maybe he's really not.
yeah.
That's hard to do. That's hard to say. Let's talk.
Right. Yeah, I feel like people like most people filter the world through their filter.
Of course.
So it's
What
like
choice do they have?
like I would only do that in this situation. So he must be doing it because of this.
Yeah.
But it's like
Yeah.
they're not even wired the same way.
Yeah.
They don't even react the same way to the same things.
They're totally shocked when you
Bring it up.
bring it up. Yeah. My wife's interesting. People, when they first meet her, don't like her.
Mm,
When they first meet me, they always like me, always, 'cause we moved all the time. As I was a kid, my dad was a pipeliner, so I was always coming to a new school, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year. I had to learn how to make friends fast and how to do that. My wife is different. once you get to know her, people absolutely they like her way more than like me in
Mhm,
the
mhm.
end because she's solid, she says what she means,
Right.
and but when you first meet her, she's quite quiet and she looks very judgmental, but she's not, but she appears to be like that, and people don't like her very much, and then they get to know her, and it's like, it's just the best person in the world. You can talk to Cassie about anything, and she's smart, and she has all the answers, and a great leader, and, but if we're gonna meet somebody, I go first.
Right. Right.
And if there's a problem with people, I go and I do that because
Mhm.
I'm quite a bit more sympathetic about how people feel about things, so
Right. Yeah,
that works. 'Cause you understand what their problem is, then that's the first step toward getting things settled, right? And if you have a business, there's always someone that's not happy with something.
definitely.
One of the workers or one of the clients, and you're doing your best, and they just imagine. Yeah, funny. People.
Mhm.
That's why I like dogs. They're so easy to deal with. They want me to be happy.
Yeah.
Not don't meet a lot of people that want you to be happy.
Yeah. It is interesting, you know, like, I'm around a lot of people in a lot of different environments in from, like, all ages, and it's the thing that seems to be never ending,
Yeah,
figuring out people.
problems, problems, problems.
And just, like, the processing methods too. Sometimes I don't understand. I feel like I'm probably more like your wife,
Yeah,
like, more direct, more
yeah,
blunt,
yeah,
and, like, I feel here's the issue is that I feel like I'm sympathetic, but it doesn't come across that way, you know? I think because I feel like I'm sympathetic, but maybe not empathetic,
okay.
you know? It's
Yeah,
like I'm not
yeah,
showing you how you want to be shown, you
right.
know? Maybe sometimes I'm not maybe like, dismissive, it seems like,
Yeah, okay.
you know?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
won't sit in it with you.
yeah,
I'll be like, I'll maybe jump to let's problem solve this a little too soon,
right.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
my wife
that's
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I feel like me, I would never ask for help unless it was for answers. Like, I would never just, like, be like, "I just need to vent."
yeah,
Never.
yeah,
If
you
I'm
don't do
talking
that.
to you, it's like, it's because I need some answers.
Yeah, yeah,
So then, like, like, people always so then that's how I feel. It's like, "Okay, they must want answers." But sometimes
it
people don't.
that stuff is harder for men, isn't it? Sitting down and talking about feeling,
Yeah,
and women do that naturally.
right.
It's all evolution. I mean, it has wasn't that long ago that we had to be out there hunting and fighting for our lives, for our family, and there's no time for that. You're hard, and you're strong, and you're fast, and you try and be better than everybody else.
Mm,
Competition, so it comes down to, "How are you feeling about the way the hunt went today?" There's no
right.
time for that. Whereas women had all the time. I mean, they had an immense responsibility of looking after the home and the children, and and the grandparents were involved in that, and processing food and getting the kids finding berries and nuts and whatever they did. And so there was time to be able to talk, and they had to communicate a lot. Our communication was wordless, and then we survived. So, but like David's in a men's group, which I'm pleased to hear, and they talk about important things. I guess, and I sort of go, I think that's a good thing.
Mhm.
But I'm a bit like that. If somebody wants to talk about things, I go, yeah, okay, good, but gotten better with age because some of the things I used to think were important aren't as important
Right.
anymore. I'm ashamed of nothing now. I mean, I'm human. So what? I made mistakes. I hurt people. And now I look back on that and I go, yeah, I'm sorry that happened. I don't do that anymore. No. So you live and you learn, or you live and you die,
Mhm.
or you don't learn and you die.
Right.
That's why I'm lifting weights.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have goals with your weightlifting? Do you have, like
Well, that's interesting because I said to my wife, "What's the heaviest a deadlift 80-year-old had done?" She looked up, said 300 and something pounds. I go, I bet I could do that. I'm at 230. I mean, that's
Yeah.
more than halfway there.
That's amazing.
So I said to the guy who's kind of the weightlifter in there, I said, so I said, okay, now we've done this, we did this this meet, and I did that 231 pounds. So we just kind of just maintain from now on. Hey, is that right? He goes, no. I go, oh shit. So I'm gonna be lifting more weights? He goes, yes. Okay. That's fine. You kind of gets hooked on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Think, I wonder if I can. I remember one day my coach said, "Well," he said, you're at 194." He said, "So close to 200." And he looked at me and he goes, I go, "Can we do it?" He said, "I don't know. Do you think you can?" I said, "Doesn't matter if I can. I'm going to try." I said, if I can't lift it, I don't care. I know I will someday."
Right.
He said, "That's the attitude." So he
That's
put 200 on. He said, "Do it." And I did it.
mm,
Woo! That was a big day. It's a big day for you today.
that's awesome. What is your favorite lift?
It's got to be the deadlift.
Yeah, me too.
Um, yeah, the squat. I had a hard time getting my arms back far enough
Mm,
because my shoulders are so fucked up
right.
to get that far back on. And then I do. What am I doing? 170 on
Oh,
squats right now.
wow.
And the worst one is the bench press. Like this shoulder is totally wrecked. Couldn't do a push up when I went to the gym anymore. I used to do a lot of push ups, but not anymore. So we did those push ups, the bar here, and just push ups from there to there like that. That's it. That
Okay,
was it. And now I can 110 pounds on bench press, and it's gonna go. I'm gonna go much more on that. I'm gonna work on it hard.
cool.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Woo.
the for the squat, did you have to do a lot of mobility with your shoulders to do
Uh,
that or
yeah, we did a lot of stuff stretching this, rubber band back there and
mm,
leaning into it so your shoulder gets back both sides and um, exercise against the wall where you're down and try and get your shoulder back further. Now I can get it far enough back. It's no longer sitting on that top vertebrae.
right.
Boy, that hurts.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all that weight on one little bone.
Yeah.
So I'm down about second or third vertebrae now.
Mm.
Um, Ethan's girlfriend. Did you meet Kelsey?
I like just quickly. I don't know her very well.
She puts it's that far. Her neck is here, and she gets the bar down here. I go, how do you do that?
Mm,
It's got really flexible shoulders. So, yeah, so we're working on it. I mean, when you do this, you just get better.
right.
Why would you not do this?
Yeah.
Right? I encourage people, especially elderly people, if you want to live long and be well, like I don't want to just live long. I don't want to live long and be unable to move and look after myself or
Right.
walk even or be in a stroller or get pushed around by people. If I'm like that, I don't want to be alive.
Mm,
I would like to made my way out of here.
yeah.
But if I can live long and be strong, and I believe I can, then that's the way to go. So I'm not quitting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you are a very powerful man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's nice of you to say.
I think the mindset you have is very rare, and it's like refreshing to talk to you.
Oh, good.
You know.
That was nice
So
talking with you too.
yeah,
You're a very good person. I can tell that. You care about people.
yeah,
Yeah, and you're curious and interested in things. That's 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 got to be one of the characteristics we have to live long and well.
Mhm.
And of course, you're doing all the physical work too. So, and I know that's plentiful. Don't get
Yeah.
hit too hard. That's
It
important.
it's funny how small of a world this is, you know, like
Yeah,
meeting David
yeah,
and him too, like talking to him, he's a very curious guy.
yeah,
And the like we literally talk about everything.
yeah,
Like our
yeah.
conversations just span everywhere.
He's a great talker,
A
isn't he?
great talker and
Yeah.
a great like he brings up things that are like I'm like, oh,
Like, wow.
I would never have thought of that,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Just where his mind goes. It's very I like talking to him, and his wife too.
yeah.
Her too.
She's a smart girl.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they're a team for sure.
yeah. I'm
But
quite proud of them both.
and then yeah, getting to meet you and uh, yeah, this is awesome.
If you call Kathy to do this, she go, "I'm not interested." That that that's
Yeah,
right out like that. I'm not interested.
yeah,
I'm not doing that. And I don't know whether it's fear or lack of interest. I couldn't tell you.
yeah.
She just decided, "No, I don't want to do that." I'll say, "Come on, you have fun." No, I'm not doing that. Oh God.
That's right. It's okay. I've there's so many people that I know that are so amazing at something
Yeah,
that I'm like, you got to come on, and
that's
they're like,
super. I'm
no,
listening to all your
they're like,
podcasts
no,
now.
yeah, and I just if you because like I'm not so curious as to what you've done, even though that's always awesome.
Yeah.
But like I always am curious as to why you did it.
Oh yeah.
You know, like what made you keep going when things got hard? What made you
Yeah.
like why are you so good at this? You
And
know,
what you're
why did
thinking
you
now.
and it's
Yeah.
like that's what I'm interested in.
Oh, cool.
You know, like the process.
Yeah.
And it's cool how different it is for everyone. Just because
I
people's
suppose.
backgrounds, their strengths are different, how they
Yeah.
were raised is
Yeah.
different, how they view things is different. And it's like it's so true that, you know, your circumstances don't define you. You know,
Right.
you can come through anything,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
People with who grew up in the nicest family, that could have been the thing that took away drive, took away motivation, took away that grit they needed to be
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
And then they get left in the dust because
Yeah.
the world's moving too
Yeah.
fast, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Too
people that
hard.
were born in like the roughest
Yeah. Made
become
it. Yeah. Big.
these incredible,
Yeah.
powerful people because they needed to be.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
They learn how to fight
Yeah.
and overcome difficulties. Just that I've always felt that in life there's no end to the problems because that's life. There will be a problem coming as soon as you fix the last one.
Right.
So expect it.
Yes.
Like, don't be shocked by that. Just deal with the next one.
Yeah.
Put them in order, get them done. And sometimes you lose,
Yeah.
but you do your best at it. Yeah.
It's
Expect problems.
one of my favorite books is it's called The Obstacle is the Way.
Oh yeah.
And that's the whole gist of the book.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Okay. Good. It's true.
if there's no obstacles, you're probably standing still.
Yeah.
If you're going the right way, there's gonna be obstacles,
Yeah.
and they're not gonna stop. That's a good thing.
Yeah. It is. It is. We need
Obstacles
that. We
are
need
good,
stress.
right?
So I always imagine myself having a nice beach and I'm lying under umbrellas, a drink there, and pretty girls are walking by, and it's just a great life. Day 3, I'm going, "You get the fuck out of here. This is boring.
Yeah,
This, I don't like to drink this much.
yeah.
Ah, sun is annoying. Okay, let's go somewhere." But you think this is paradise. It's not paradise.
No,
Paradise for a day.
yeah. I always I do like long distance runs.
Oh, do you?
So I do this 50-kilometer run in the mountains,
Oh my god.
and at every point at some point, it's like in my head, I'm like, oh man, this is hard.
Yeah.
Like, and that is my favorite feeling
Yeah.
is getting to that point where it's
I'm
like,
there.
I might quit,
Yeah.
but like,
They go,
I
"No,
don't have to quit yet.
that's not me."
Right. And then when I'm done the race and I get home and stuff, and then it's like been a week or a month, I always think like I need to feel that again.
Yeah.
I just want that like,
Uh, Time for another run.
yeah, that like, are you who you say you are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're 38 kilometers in and you got to go straight up this mountain for 4 kilometers. Let's see.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
there's been races where I wasn't, where I just got like a blister too big, or like I had a really bad cramp in my thigh one
Yeah.
race
Yeah.
where I just, I
Couldn't
had
move
to
that
tap
leg.
out. And it's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
But it's like a good feeling, It's
Yeah.
just like,
Well, but then people hear about that, like when you said 50K in the mountains, I go, "Oh my god, that sounds horrible." And then I go, "I could never do that." And then Kathy and I ran half marathons. I mean, the short, right? But they're so painful. Uh, if I was the weight then that I am now, it would be easier because I was a little bit too heavy. But to say to people, so they go, "Oh, you run? How do you do that?" Say, "Okay, you start with run half a block, and if you're tired, walk. You don't have to run a marathon
right.
the first day, and then tomorrow you'll probably be able to run half a block plus one driveway, and
Mm,
that's called progress. And when you're tired, stop, and when you can run again, start. That's how that goes. And then pretty soon you'll be running 2 blocks in no time at all,
yeah.
and then you should be proud of yourself then, because don't compare it to Cole who does 50 miles. That's not the same.
Mhm.
He had to start somewhere too. And if you're going to lift weights and you can lift a 2 pound weight right now, that's where you start,
Yeah.
because next week you'll be able to lift 5. And so don't compare yourself to anybody else. And this weightlifting bunch, I'll tell you, they're the most supportive people you could
Mhm.
imagine. They're just they're just so proud when I lifted that 200 pounds. I'm going, you guys are lifting 400 or 500 pounds. They go, no, that's not the thing. That's not that. The fact that you came out here and you went from lifting 50 pounds to 200 pounds is just amazing. I go, okay. But you sort of go, oh, maybe it is. Maybe that is kind of amazing.
It is.
Oh, you
It
start feeling really good about yourself, right? And appreciation from others is important. And as a leader, we need to give out lots of appreciation to people. And you do. I watched how you interact with your crew. You're good. Say good night to them and tease them a little bit.
Mhm.
So important to do those things and recognize the work that they've done. And then, like, we always have 1 or 2 workers at the kennel. We treat them like family. The house is open, the fridge is open. If you're tired, stop. You need to make phone calls? Go ahead. Do your stuff on your phone. Yeah, we know you'll get your work done.
Right.
If you get hungry, we'll phone if we're out and say, "Hey, you want us to bring you some lunch?" You go, "Yeah, sure. Give me an ice cap and a sandwich. No problem at all." And then they do belong. They belong in your family. And I mean, it sounds. I'm not trying to con them into doing good work, but that's how I feel they should be.
Mm.
Right? They should be a family member, and then they're loyal to you. They probably steal less from you that way.
Right. Mm. It's a good point though,
Oh yeah.
because people, like you said, they want to be appreciated.
Yeah,
They
they
want
do.
to feel supported.
And
They
noticed.
want, and they want like trust. How important trust is in a relationship.
Yeah,
Again, just like with the run, like, am I who I say I am? Am I faking it? No, they're my friends too.
yeah,
They're my,
yeah. You're in it together.
right. I don't even like the word staff.
Yeah,
Like what a
yeah,
weird
yeah. It
word, my
seems to
staff. Yeah,
demeaning.
it's
Well,
demeaning
you're
for
our
sure.
staff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can't hang out with the staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's just like I'm nothing without them. You know,
Exactly.
like I'm
You can't do all
I'm
that work.
I don't even know how they do half the stuff. I'm like so impressed by what they do back
Oh, that's
there.
great.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you
You don't
know,
wanna know.
well, yeah, like it's a team effort, and you know, they're way better at what they do
Yeah.
than I could ever be.
Oh, that's super to have. That's the people
You
you
know,
want.
right?
Yeah.
And that's like
Yeah. You're not in competition.
I don't need to be the best at
You're here to
everything.
help.
Right?
You're here to help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
That's the way to run a business.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to touch on or any
No, I
shout
thought we did a
outs or
pretty good job,
anything
don't
like
you?
that. Yeah, no, that was good. That was good.
That was a great
Nice,
talk.
smooth.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on short notice.
Oh, you're welcome.
And hopefully we can do this
I
again.
do like talking to people
Yeah.
or just talking.
Me Me
You're
too.
you're a
Me
great
too.
listener.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for the water.
All right. Let's call it there.